I'm Kevin. Welcome to the Claremont Classic Garage. Well, success. The polar vortex has finally left us. It's the Wednesday before the Victoria Day long weekend, which is kind of a week early this year. But it was -3 last night. That's cold enough for like the middle of May. Anyway, as usual, you never know what you're going to find here. Today, we got something that I blew up last summer. We're gonna try and fix it. This is the Duece. It's a 1947 Ford 2N. It's a very high serial number. It's one of the last 2Ns made before they changed to 8Ns, which debuted in late 47 as a 48 model. Now, for any of you Ford tractor aficionados, you may say to yourself, that thing's painted red belly. It should be all gray. You are correct. And wrong at the same time. This tractor is actually, on paper, original paint. What happened was, in the middle of 1947, when the 8N started showing up with the beautiful vermilion red and light gray paint job, the Ford tractor dealers started screaming, saying, hey, we're never going to be able to sell all these old battleship gray 2Ns. Ford actually sent out a memo advising the dealers to paint the remaining 2Ns like 8Ns so they'd sell easier, and it worked. This one was painted by the selling dealer in 1947, and it's never been touched again. I bought it from some Mennonites in Indiana. Yes, I went to Indiana to buy a Ford tractor. This thing is a sweetheart. It purrs like a kitten. It's just a great little tractor. I'm so glad I made the trip to buy it. Anyway, the problem is not with the tractor. The only problem the tractor has, what we're going to try and fix, is this belt. Not exactly optimum. So, on the back of this thing is my Chinese log splitter. Now, sometimes, as my wife says, I get a little enthusiastic with it. And last summer, I tried putting that through it. Mistake. A great big hunk of it got pulled down into the knives here, and it locked the thing up. It spit the drive shaft out. So right now, the thing is stuck. It won't turn. So we're going to fix that. Usually, it's happened to me before. I just go and I loosen these drum bolts all the way around, and then just kind of tickle the clutch a little bit, and it'll clear itself out. So we're going to do that now, and I'm going to have a go at the fan belt on the engine here, and we'll see if we can get chipping, because it's nice weather coming, and I got a lot of chipping to do. One of the first things you learn when you start monkeying around with these old Ford tractors, and the English Fergusons too, is that they've got a kooky 1 1/8 PTO shaft when everything else in the world is a 1 3/8 PTO shaft. There's all kinds of ways around that, from replacement shafts that come with a larger spline to goofy adapters that go on there. In this case, because the space was limited between the implement and the tractor, I had to go with one of these. It's just a spline on spline adapter. So you slide that on there like that, and then your implement shaft goes over it. So this was held on with a split pin, I guess. And when the thing let go, it's this that let go. There were little bits of it still stuck in the yoke of the drive line. I managed to get the last couple of pieces of it out. So first thing we got to do is get the adapter on to our PTO shaft, and then we'll get this shaft back on, get the drive line back complete. I may even have to separate it. It's really tight getting this thing in there. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now we gave her a little tap and got her in. Now we're just going to slide this pin here, and it's just a floating pin. It's not a split pin or roll pin. It floats in there. Once the other shaft goes over top of this, the pin can't go anywhere. So this thing just stays there like that. So that's cool for now. And you want your notch up. That's for the quick release. On an old style yoke, it would be drilled right through, and you would put this thing on, then you would put your yoke over, and then one pin would go through the whole works. But that's just not how they work anymore. So anyway, I'm going to get the other piece of the drive shaft, and hopefully we can get this thing together without having to split the implement off the tractor. If we have to, we have to. That's how she rolls. So I managed to do, rather than having to take the implement right off the tractor, I just pushed the top link out, which pivoted this thing away enough that I just got the shaft to go on. So the drive line is back together. Now we're going to obviously put this back, and then I'm going to start loosening up this to get our jam cleared. A little change in plan. I think I'm going to change the fan belt first because once I think I've got the jam cleared, I'm going to have to start the thing up and put the PTO on and let the clutch out. And I don't want to shoot whatever's in there all over my garage. So I'm going to change the belt now. And then we'll go about getting the jam free. And we'll take it outside and see if we can blow it out. So let's have a go at this belt. So somewhere along the line, somebody did the usual 12-volt conversion on this. But they didn't get the memo that you need to use a 5/8 belt. They've got this little 7/16 car belt on here. And well, it got a little bit of a problem. And you can't tighten it because if you pull it tight, then the alternator gets mucked up with this tie rod or drag link here. So we're going to see what we've got for a belt. Hopefully I can get it changed. Sometimes it's a little dicey getting them through where the pulley is there. You actually have to separate everything off the front of the tractor. Hopefully I won't have to do that. All right, there we go. Got the belt changed. It was kind of fun fishing it through the fan and everything, but Henry gave us just enough room when he designed it, so it fit perfectly. Now we can carry on with the chipper. So I've got most of these bolts slackened off all the way around. There's one here that I have to take this whole bloody cover off to get it loose. I don't usually loosen that one when it gets jammed. So anyway, we're going to take this thing outside and fire it up, and we'll put the PTO on and let the clutch out and see if it clears itself. If not, I may have to take this cover off and loosen this and loosen these bolts like all the way off. But this usually works. So that was a charm. She's running good again now. So now I can put her all back together. While I'm at it, I'm going to check the knives, make sure they don't need to be sharpened or replaced. And then we can go do some chipping. So there you can see one of the knives. It's looking pretty good. It's still got a good edge on it. So I'd say that's alright. I'm not sure how many it has, if it just has the one or if there's 2 or 4. I'm going to mark that with chalk and we'll turn the thing around and see what we find. I would like to think it's got a couple, but you don't know. The thing sure goes like hell, I'll tell you that. Okay, so she's all back together. I'm going to go out now. I was pruning a tree in the ditch the other day. I got to go chip up the remnants of it. This thing is interesting. It's got a power feed. There's a belt driven. It's belt driven, not hydraulic driven like the big Vermeers. But you know what? For what these things cost, for using around your homestead, they're just fine. It is a tinkerer's machine. Don't get me wrong. I'm always fixing something on it or re-engineering something. But for the most like this is made for a modern compact tractor, not an old 8N or 9N or 2N. So I just extended that, and it's fine, right? You got to do what you got to do. That's adjustable down there too. You can run that in and out. So all in all, I've had the thing 15 years. It's done me well. I've put a lot of wood through it. So what I got to do now is, because I'm going to be shooting it right into the ditch, I'm going to aim this thing down so it's not shooting it all over the place. And let's go chip some wood. Alright, so she's spooled up. Got the chipper running. Don't walk in front of the chute like I just did. Let's put some stuff in this thing and see what happens. Very cool, eh? Everybody should have one of these. I'm going to put the phone down now and do the work. So that was a successful outing. Now, with anything old like this, always, when you're done using it, turn off the fuel. This one, long way to screw it in because I got it screwed out all the way under reserve. I've been trying to burn the fuel out of this thing for a long time. It's got this gross, skunky old gas. I mean, look at this stuff in the bowl. I can't believe it even runs on this crap. I'm trying to burn it out of it before I don't want to put fresh stuff in and just mix it with this crap, right? I would like to just run this out. I mean, if the thing wouldn't run, I would just drain it and get rid of it. But it seems to run on it, so might as well get my money's worth out of it. This is probably the gas that was in the thing when I got it. I don't know. And we unhooked the battery. See, everything around here, the old cars, the old tractors, they all have these things on them. And just when you're done for the day, open it. And you don't have any trouble. Let's see how much gas is left in this thing. Not much. It doesn't smell very good either. Over the next few days, we're going to start doing some cleanup around here. So hopefully we'll get that stuff burned out of it. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll see you next time. I'm not sure what we'll be doing next time. But it'll be interesting. I can promise you that. And as usual, you know, down there, like button, subscribe button, comment box. I don't want to keep all this fun to myself. I like to share it. See you later.